Jaya Radha Madhuma Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhuma Kunja Bihare Janavalabha Ivadachate Gopi Janavalabha Ivadachate Sunandana Rajana Ranjana Yasodanan Tanabrajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachade Yamuna Tira Vanachade Jaya Ranumadhuva Kunda Viraje Jaya Radhumadhuva Kunda Viraje Gopinana Malabha Iripadadhati Gopinana Vallabha Iripadadhati Yasodhanandana Pradajanaranjana Yasodhanandana Pradajanaranjana Yamunatira Panachade Yamunatira Panachade Jaya Radhumadhuva Kunda Viraje Jaya Radhumadhuva Kunda Viraje Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravatikacharya all Stuteta Sitashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Chandana Bhaktivedanta Goswami Mahārishila Prabhupada Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Jai Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinigajai Namacharya Shidahorida Staku Gajai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinigajai Sri Sri Radhakrishna Gopinath Shaima Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuradam Ki Jai Jagadava Swami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Shrimati Lati Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaura Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deja Tarani. Okay, just give it to me. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 66th chapter, text 6. 666. All right, yeah. I just realized, oh my God. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yani Tvam Asmach Chitnani Modyad Vivarshi Satvata Shaktvahi Mang Twang Sharanang No Ched Dehi Mamahavam Yani Tvam Asbachinani Amodyad Vivarshi Satvata Chatvaihi Mam Tvam Sharanam Nachadehi Mamahavam Yani Tvam Asbachinani Modyad Vivarshi Satvata Chatvaihi Mam Tvam Sharanam No Chedehi Mamahavam Yani Tvam Asbachinani Modyad Vivarshi Satvata Chatvaihi Mam Tvam Sharanam No Chedehi Mamahavam Ladies. Hmm. All right. Yani, which? Twam, you. Asmat, our. Jinani, symbols. Muljat, out of delusion. Vibarshi, carry. Satvata, O chief of the Sattvatas. Tyaktva, giving up. Ehi, come. Mam, to me. Twam, you. Sharanam, for shelter. Na, not. U, otherwise. Chet, if. Dehi, give. Mama, me. Ahovam, battle. Translation. Oh, Sattvata. It's interesting how he's using the word Sattvata here, because it basically refers to devotees or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in this context, it means a member of the Sattvika dynasty, which is actually the Yadu dynasty. But really, it means someone who was situated in Sat. So, which is interesting. Give up my personal symbols, which out of foolishness you now carry, and come to me for shelter. If you do not, then you must give me battle. So you can repeat. O Sattvata, give up my personal symbols, which out of foolishness you now carry, and come to me for shelter. If you do not, then you must give me battle. So, purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti again interprets Pundraga's words according to the inspiration of Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Thus, they may be understood to mean, out of foolishness, I have assumed an imitation conch shell, disc, lotus, and club, and you are maintaining these by allowing me to use them. You have not yet subdued me and gotten rid of these imitation symbols. Therefore, please mercifully come and liberate me by forcing me to give them up. Give me battle and grant me liberation by killing me. Okay, I guess I'll read Jiva Goswami. So he speaks further. You hold these symbols, which are mine. O Sattvika member of the Yadu clan, he says this in disrespect. There is another real meaning to the previous verse. I have not descended to show mercy to all beings because I am inferior, insignificant, apara. You alone have appeared as Vasudeva. Make me give up my false designation, thinking a shell is silver. In this verse, the Lord will order Pundraga, in the verse 20, order Pundraga to do this. The real meaning of the present verses follows, you will eternally hold the symbols like the chakra, which I have imitated out of foolishness. Throw your chakra at me and accept me. Will surrender and accept. This is some problem. Accept me, will surrender. Accept that I will surrender to you, since you will liberate me. If you do not release your weapon quickly, then give me a fight. In verse 8, the Lord says exactly these words to the messenger and to Pundraga. Since the messenger spoke with hatred and mockery, seeing the Lord, just as the wrestlers saw him in Kamsa's arena, Concerning shelter, in verse 9, the Lord answers, you will become the shelter of dogs. Later he answers in verse 20, I will certainly take shelter of you if I do not wish to fight you. Sanatana Goswami, very short commentary. He speaks further. You hold these symbols which are mine, O Sattvika, member of the Yadu dynasty, or devotee says this in disrespect. There's another real meaning to the verse. Make me give up my false designation, except my house. All right. So again, the verse, Yani tvam asmach chi nani modyad vivarshi satvata tokvai hi mam tvam shatanam no ched dehi mamahavam. So, Omagana Timirandasha Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unminitam Yena Tasmai Shigurveda Maha. Actually, today, as I was reading this, I was thinking, really, these could be Krishna's words in relationship to us. You know, give up your sense of false ego, you know, because we want to have what? Krishna's opulences, which out of foolishness you think belong to yourself. I'm paraphrasing this. And come to me for shelter. Krishna's saying that. And then there's the threat. If you do not do this, then you must do battle with Krishna through Krishna's illusory energy. You understand? So you have a choice. Mama Maya Bhuttarachaya. So if we don't surrender to Krishna, we have to do battle not directly with Krishna, but with Krishna's material energy, you know, Adhyatmik, Adhibodhik, Adhidaivic, the threefold miseries, and do battle with Durga. Just try to fight Durga. Anyway, I was just thinking about that. That's not what I have prepared for this particular verse. What I was prepared for this particular verse was just the thought that people would act so crazily, or this particular person would act so crazily, to think that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, I understand why his followers praised him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because, you know, that's how you win someone's favor. You see this, I mentioned this previously in class, you see this in politics, that, give me the other microphone. This particular microphone needs to be substituted for one of the ones at, that we have the black ones. Put it to the side so we can bring out one of the black ones later on and just get that coordinated with the receiver. So anyway, so I was thinking, so we understand why the yes men say yes, because they're concerned about their position, they're concerned about their lives, and actually we see this in America to a certain degree, and therefore they won't tell the truth to the person who they're serving. Actually, a real servant will tell the truth to the person they're serving. They won't simply be a yes man. Prabhupada said, blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. But as far as why Pondrika is thinking like this, I was thinking, you know, why? Why could someone think like it when obviously you're not the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Obviously you're getting sick. Obviously you're not the Supreme Controller. Obviously you're not unlimitedly attractive, unlimitedly strong, unlimitedly intelligent. I mean, it doesn't take much brains to understand that, isn't it? You know, so, and to accept worship as God, I mean, it means someone is stupid. So why is someone so stupid? It's stupidity. I mean, it's comical. This part of the Bhagavatam is described as a very comical interlude, isn't it? Previously, it was a very serious story about, you know, Balaram and Vrindavan, very, very serious, deep, and all of a sudden there's this comedy thrown in. where this idiot is thinking he's God. I mean, it's like, for example, I used to preach at the universities a lot, and we'd run into people who actually said that they were God. I mean, they were idiots. You know, students who were supposedly intelligent, they come up to me, and I would talk about the philosophy. Of course, one of the things we used to attract people to speak to me was that we went to this area right in front of the student union in UNC Chapel Hill, is that we had a sign that said, Hare Krishnas find the cure to AIDS. So people used to rush up to us and say, oh, you found the cure to AIDS. I said, yeah, just look at the fine print under the sign. It says abstinence. Of course, that got the whole conversation started. But then we started talking about God, and basically many people said, well, I'm God. I said, oh, that's really nice. And I'm God too. What do you do about that? And they said, we're all one. And then I said, well, that means your money is my money. Or usually I would grab their bicycle. Your bicycle is my bicycle. So anyway, it's insanity. So why is someone so insane? And I'd like to cite some verses that illustrate. One of them is spoken by Lord Rishabhadev, is Anunam Pramata Kurute Vikarma Yad Indriya Pritya Apranoti Vasadu Manye. That Nunam Pramata, Pramada or Pramata means still more crazy. Pramada means crazy. Mada means crazy. Pramada at Prakriti Rupena means still more or completely crazy. So why are people completely crazy? Nunam Pramata Kurute Vikarma, and they commit vikarmic activities because Yadindriya Pritya Apranoti. What does that mean? The satisfaction of their senses is considered very dear, important to them. The most important thing in life. That's why people are crazy. And because of that, then another interesting verse spoken by Prahlad Maharaj, Matirna Krishna Partao Svatova, Vido Bitpadyeta, Grahavratanam, Adantago Pir Vishatam, Tameshram, Punas, Char Vitachar, Rananam. They speak foolishly and they keep doing foolish things. And as a result, they get killed by the Lord's external energy, or in this particular case, killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Pundraga is basically after the satisfaction of his senses. So what do we mean senses? Is he looking to eat more or sleep more? No, there's the mind. Manakshashtani indriyani prakriti stani karshati. The mind is the sixth sense, and the living entities in the material world, according to Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, are struggling with the senses, which include the mind. And as a result of that, that sensory attachment, not only a sensory attachment, but mental attachment, attachment to their mundane intelligence, then they become bewildered and crazy. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna states, Arjuna asked, first of all, by what is one forced to act, or made to act as if by force? Everybody knows that verse. And Krishna answers, Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajaguna Samudbhava. That is because of lust and anger, of course. Kama Esha Krodha Esha, because Krodha, anger, comes from lust. We know this from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Jayato Vishaya Punsam Sango Stesho Pajayate Sangas sanjayate kama, kama krodha vijayate. And that doesn't mean you're simply lusting after some gross sense object. You know, I want that pizza, or I want this, or I want that. But even in one's mind, one may be lusting after the idea of being the controller, or being worshipped. Puja. You know, that subtle sex desire. Profit, adoration, distinction. So one may be lusting at, and then anger arises. So kamaesha, krodesha, rajaguna, samudbhava. And then Krishna describes one must conquer these things, but you really have to know where these things reside. And this kamesha, krodesha resides in the three things. What? Mind, right? Senses, mind, and intelligence. So those are the three things we have to really concentrate on slaying. Krishna uses this word in the Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Slaying. Not this, we don't kill the senses, we don't kill the intelligence. Obviously, we don't want a bunch of stupid people running around. We don't kill the senses, but we slay them by engaging them in the service of the Supreme Personality of God. It's Savai Mana, Krishna Padaro Vindaya. So, but engaging them not simply externally, but engaging the mind while you're doing the external activity, and engaging the intelligence on planning how to serve Krishna. So three things have to be engaged in Krishna's service, not just one. Senses, mind, and intelligence. You engage the senses by working for Krishna. You engage the mind in thinking of Krishna. Thinking of Krishna means you can also think of Krishna's service. You can also think of Krishna's devotees. You can also think of Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's abode. There's so many ways to think of Krishna. Obviously, we're not going to walk around, thinking all day long as you're hammering nails or building or something like that, or thinking of, Krishna playing his flute, or visualizing Krishna playing his flute. So you think of what you're doing for Krishna. And that is thinking of Krishna. And then you're controlling the mind. Mind is very difficult to control. Chanchala, imanaha Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham anye vayor iva shidushkaram. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, more difficult than controlling the wind. So therefore, we engage the mind in any of these different objects. And by doing that, objects or people, whatever, thinking of a devotee, you think of Prabhupada, that's engaging the mind. Isn't it? Practical service. Again, I know I'm reiterating. So then intelligence, so senses we touched upon, mind we touched upon, and intelligence you engage in thinking on how to please Krishna. Planning. Intelligence is basically the longer term planning. The mind is immediately accepting, rejecting. But intelligence is and then you in order to engage your intelligence, you need to study Srila Prabhupada's books. And then you can do that. So, on the other hand, and I want to read part of the Bhagavad Gita, if you find yourself, or if you see others developing demoniac qualities, that should be a clue to you that you have to engage more intently in Krishna service, your senses, mind, and intelligence. So I'm going to refer to the qualities listed by Krishna in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. 16th chapter is one of my favorites because it's about divine and demoniac qualities. And I'm going to read about some of the demoniac qualities, which are really interesting. And you'll see, do they fit you? And if they do, you're not performing devotional service properly. You're not engaging your mind, intelligence, and your senses in devotional service properly. So let's start with the 7. That's when the demons, the description of the demons really starts. Of course, famous verse. Pravatim cha, nivatim cha, janana, vidur asura. Nasocham napi chacharo, nasacham teshu, vijate. What does that mean? The demons, well, I'm going to paraphrase this. You know, the translation is those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done, neither cleanliness or proper behavior or truth is found in them. So if you find yourself, of course, most of us are clean, hopefully. Prabhupada said the temple should be revolutionary clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So if you find yourself lax in that regard, that may be indicating inattention in engaging your mind, intelligence, and your senses in Krishna service. Remember, to get rid of the demoniac qualities, you can't get rid of them directly. You have to engage those, because if you don't engage in Krishna service, then, and you create a vacuum, or you try to create a vacuum, there is no vacuum actually, you try to get rid of these bad qualities by getting rid of them, then there is no vacuum. Nature, what do they say? Nature abhors a vacuum. So immediately the bad qualities will come out. Either you have the good qualities in your senses, mind, and intelligence, or the bad qualities will manifest. There's no other option. Of course, you may say, well, I see so many people who are not devotees with good qualities, right? You know, sometimes you see people say that. Well, actually, Krishna says what? That harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorete nasati davata bahi. That's the second part of the verse. First part of the verse is yasyasti bhakti bhagava achakinchana savar gunas tatra samasute sura. And then harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorete nasati davato bahi. What does that second part of the verse say? Those who are not Krishna conscious, they have no good qualities, because even for apparently for some period of time, they may be showing what appears to be good qualities because the modes of nature are there. And that's what Krishna indicates when he's talking about, you know, this is actually earlier when we're talking about the senses, mind, intelligence, or the actually the sources of lust, like that, that he indicates that it is due to the contact of the modes of nature. So, anyway, getting back to the point, so a devotee automatically has all these good qualities. Yashasti bhakti bhagavacha kinchana, again. So neither cleanliness or proper behavior nor truth. If you find yourself lying, that's an indication. Lying, cheating, stealing. I'm just further adding demoniac qualities here. Then this is an indication that some demoniac qualities are manifesting in you. You could become like Pondragat, not exactly like him, obviously, but you could have that same mentality because nunam pramata kurute vikarma yarindriya puritya aparnoti. I know I'm repeating that verse. Because you consider the senses, the mind and the intelligence very dear to you, and the satisfaction of them to be your goal in life. So next verse. Of course, most devotees don't fall into category. Asacham apratishtam te jagadahuranisram aparasparas ambutam kimanyat kamahaitakam. They say that this world is unreal with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire. It has no cause other than lust. Sounds like the Darwinian theory, right? That's what Darwin basically says, doesn't he? He says the survival of the species, I'll just give you a little Darwinian evolution 101. He said the survival of the species is based upon which species are able to which, let's say, mutations or whatever, are able to reproduce, sex desire like that. So the reason we have all this life is because of survival of the fittest. So, next verse, it doesn't apply to the devotees, okay. And next verse doesn't apply. But let me just read it. Taken shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige. Sometimes that applies to us. The demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. And text 11 to 12 really describes the demoniac person in detail. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. Anyway, I don't want to go through all of these because they're actually quite instructive for us. And we can see how we may have some of these qualities and how others may have these qualities. But ultimately, it says here that if we become perplexed by this, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusion, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. So, that's a appropriate description of Pondrika, an appropriate description of ourselves when we enter into that Pondrika mentality. Okay, I think that's all I was going to speak about today. So anyone have any questions or comments? Yes. Right. Well, it's all right not to see yourself as doing better. When we see ourselves as not doing so well, actually, the more you advance in devotional service, at least my experience is the more I make a little bit of advancement in devotional service, the more I see how much is lacking. Prabhupada, of course, gave the example that when you start to clean the room, then the dust starts to fly. Another example Prabhupada gave is when you're making ghee. You remember this, Jude? You remember this? Purva? When you're making ghee, the impurities rise to the surface. So what I do when I see all these impurities rise to the surface, I wonder if there's any ghee left. Anyway, so I remember cooking, And sometimes there's so many impurities in the butter, you think, oh, that's all the butter I'm getting out of this? It's mostly impurities. You ever have that experience of purity? It's really frustrating. So sometimes our consciousness is like that. All the impurities are right into the surface and we can't see any good qualities. So rather than getting discouraged, it should be an impetus, that realization, or those thoughts, or that introspection, should be an impetus to dive further with the again, we're talking about the senses, the mind, and intelligence. We find ourselves lacking. You know, sometimes we're serving Krishna so well externally, but where's the mind and where's the intelligence? So that was the point. I mean, that's my whole point of class. It's not just that you're serving externally, but you have to fix your mind on Krishna, and you have to fix your intelligence on Krishna's service. 3 things, because these are the sitting places of lust, according to Krishna and the Gita. Now, we want to transform lust to what? Love. Because lust is a transformation of love in this material world. Just like we hear in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the upside down banyan tree, you know. So the material realm is a reflection, perverted reflection of the spiritual realm. I mean, I was hearing an interesting example Prabhupada gave. Sometimes people say, well, spirit souls, we shouldn't have any arms or legs, you know, like that. And Prabhupada said, this body has arms and legs, just in the same way that you have a coat or a shirt. Why do you have a coat and a shirt that has arms in it? Because the body underneath has arms. You understand the example? Really interesting. So, anyway, the main point is all 3 things. If we find ourselves lacking, if we see some impurities, when we see some impurities in our heart, then senses, mind, intelligence, it should be a challenge. I'm not engaging my mind, or I'm not engaging my intelligence. 3 things. Remember, those 3 things are important, because those are the sitting places of lust.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Taniya Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Pasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami 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 Govindam.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Vristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Vristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvasesa Shunyavadi Praschachare Shatarane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvasesa Shunyavadi Rashtrachade Shatarane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi, Gaur Bhakta Vrindam, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Lokananda, Radhe Jaya, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya 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 Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Chaito Darpanam Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirpapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam. What a nice Tulsi garland. Wow. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smarane Nakala Etadrishita Vakipa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajanina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Charorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kapitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishamevavam Buddha Kribaya Davabada Pankaja Stita Duli Sajatim Vachintaya Nayanam Gadashru Daraya Vadanam Gad Gadarudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati Imam Chakshusha Mivashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishava Padamritam Anastumam Adarshanam Marma Takarotuva Yatatadava Vidatatu Lampato Mat Prananatastu Sa Evanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. They are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.